abortion is one of the most controversial topics in today's media. It's really no wonder because it concerns all aspects of our society today. It concerns the freedom for life, the freedom for the pursuit of happiness, finances, ethics, and religion. With it concerning so many aspects of people's lives, it's really no wonder that there's a lot of advocacy for the killing of human life. As a woman and as a researcher, I have concluded that abortion is not beneficial to our society. The number one reason for the advocacy of abortion is that rape victims need to have that choice. However, do rape victims agree? One study showed according to Concerned Women for America, shows that 70% of rape victims carried their babies till term, and they decide to either raise the child themselves or give the child up for adoption. This has actually shown to lessen the trauma of the rape. This actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because the chemicals of a pregnant woman's brain produce a lot of estrogen and dopamine, making her feel very womanly, making her feel very happy, and making her love this child, which is a very healing thing. Also, studies showed that the 25% of women who do decide to abort their babies actually find that worsens their trauma. This is for two major reasons. The first, because normally they don't detect the child till 2 or after months, in which case the abortion process is very, very trying to find the word, I'm sorry. Invasive. It's a very invasive process, normally involving a knife-edged vacuum that cuts up the baby and sucks it out. Well, this makes the woman relive her trauma because it is so invasive. And also, the woman later feels like she did the same thing that was done to her because she didn't have a choice whenever she was raped, and that baby didn't have the choice whenever it was aborted. According to a Princeton College website, implantation begins 5 to 7 days after the sperm has fertilized the egg, and the process concludes several days after that. This gives rape victims plenty of time to decide whether or not to take a day after pill. So rape victims, in conclusion, they do have the choice still. Aborting worsens their trauma, and carrying the baby to term can actually be a very healing experience. According to Operation Rescue, less than 1% of abortions are actually done by people who have been raped. The largest group of women aborting their babies is done by people who feel that it just would be very inconvenient at the time to have a baby. A person always has a choice in their life. For example, people choose to have sexual relationships. People know that sex is the cause for pregnancy. Therefore, I think it is logical and reasonable to conclude that people deciding to have sexual relationships with each other should also be mentally prepared to have a child, whether they want one at that particular time or not. Also, people make the choice whether to use contraceptives or not. There are several types of contraceptives, and most of them are easily available today. Even if a couple decides not to use contraceptives, there's always the aforementioned day after pill, which causes you not to have that fertilization. Abortions can also cause a myriad of health problems for women. According to life.org, an influx of estrogen, which happens whenever you become pregnant to help sustain the baby, that actually becomes toxic whenever the baby is ripped out. This is because the body doesn't know what happened to the baby. So now you have this super high of estrogen and your body has nothing to do with it, and thus it becomes toxic. That toxin can actually make a woman sterilized. Another thing, if the abortion does not get every single bit of that baby out of the uterus, then whatever remains, whether it's skin or bone or hair, anything, that will start to decompose and rot. Now that rotting will cause a serious life-threatening infection if not caught very early on. That can also cause sterility. Couples who become sterile only have one option left, and that's to adopt. Well, with so many abortions happening in America today, the waiting list for adoptions is over 24 million people long. The average wait time is 2 to 3 years, and the average price for an adoption is $3,500. Again, I reiterate, life always has choices for you to make, and those choices don't stop until you choose abortion, because you can't bring back life. So, in conclusion, rape victims are not helped by abortion. There are so many choices that by the time you even become pregnant, I think it's time for responsibility. And there is no cure for sterility or death. Laws, politics don't really have much to do with this. I think what really needs to be done is we all need to choose not to kill tiny humans. Thank you for listening to my speech.